What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. As you can tell from the title of the video, we are adding a little bit of protection into the M3 today with the Halguard H3R Fire Extinguisher. This video is to serve three purposes. One, I am upping the ante again on the power. So I finished the Pure Stage 2 Plus Turbo with 93 only, and then I moved on to the PureTurbo with spraying methanol, and now I'm about to go to E85, full E85 with methanol. And so as I'm going through this, I was thinking to myself, I'm upping the ante. I need to take and show a little bit of responsibility and have some type of protection in the car. God forbid something were to happen to me while I was in the car, or even worse, if I had passengers or family or friends in the car. I want to do my due diligence and make sure I have at least some type of precaution if something were to happen, especially since we have meth lines going from the trunk all the way to the front of the hot engine bay area. That's what that purpose is. That's one. Two, there are a couple other fire extinguisher Halguard H3R videos. They are kind of missing some details that I want to cover today, talking about, one, the parts. That's the second thing of this. Going over all the parts that are really needed. I want to go into a little bit more detail with that. And then the third one is the assembly of the bracket. It's very simple. It's just some washers and some nuts and some locking nuts and bolts, but they have to go in a specific order in a certain way, and that took a little bit more time than I thought it should have when I was putting it together. It is pre-assembled, but I just want, for someone out there who is assembling this, I just want to give you a close-up view of where things should go, because I hope it will be helpful to you and you just won't be stumbling through a trial and error and trying to figure out how this erector set goes together. So that's what the purpose of is. Let's get to it. I want to go over first the parts, because there are some things that are kind of missing. So when I bought this, I knew, obviously, I would need the fire extinguisher. So the advantage of the clean agent is you can see where you're spraying, and also it does not do damage to electronics under the hood. So this is really meant strictly for cars. So this is the 2.5 pound one. The Halguard, and it comes in 3 different colors. I went for the black one, but anyway, here are the part numbers for the red, and for the black, and for the chrome one right there. That's kind of self-explanatory. You need a fire extinguisher if you're going to install a fire extinguisher in the car. Then, it was known that I need the bracket, and so we are going for the universal one for the seat, to mount this on the floor near the passenger seat, and then here is the mount that you need, okay? And that part number is SM01BKs. That's the part that you need. So now we got a fire extinguisher, we got our mount. I'm assembling it, and I start to realize something's missing. The third part that you need, if you want a quick release, and you probably want the quick release because if you need the fire extinguisher, you probably don't need it slowly, is the extreme duty quick release fire extinguisher bracket. This is a third piece. This was not told to me when I needed this. I ordered 2 things, was halfway through the install, getting ready to do the video, and was missing. This is the model number NB300. You need this as well. So you now have 3 things. You need this, which is a quick release, because this is what is going to attach to the universal bracket at the seat. This is the universal bracket for the seat. And then, of course, your fire extinguisher. So, 3 separate things you need to buy. That was not conveyed to me, so I just want to put that out there. If you're thinking about doing this, order all 3 of those. And then the assembly. This is another part of the video I want to go through. I want to give you some close-up details of where I had to put the mounting brackets. It's still not 100%. I still have things very loose or barely finger tight, because I know I'm going to need some adjustment to get this lined up with the seat bracket. So it is 95% correct. I'm going to just have to do some minor adjustments, but let me show you where the bolts go. So just to reiterate here, I just want to show all part numbers. So this quick release right here, along with the silicone thing and the bar that goes around the fire extinguisher, is the NB300. And then this metal plate, the aluminum thing, is the model SM01BK. And then of course you get your choice of your color fire extinguisher, whether you want red or black or chrome. And that just ends with R for red, B for black, and C for chrome. All right, for people who are putting this together, let me kind of just say that there is a long piece and then a short piece. The short piece is gonna go with these 2 large washers and these 2 locking nuts. You're gonna put this swinging bracket on this end here, on the outer end. It's gonna be the one that's gonna be closest to the seat. And then I had assembled that, and when I realized there was no quick release plate, I had to unassemble it and then put these two nuts through both the quick release and this plate, and then put it in here. So just be mindful that it's going through the quick release, through the mounting plate, and then into these two nuts. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to slide this to length once I get it into the car. And then same thing, this nut here, you're gonna wanna put that through the cable, the quick release cable, and then through the quick release. These large nuts and washers will go on this pivoting end right here. So you have the large one here, on this end, and then right here. So I just want to give people who are trying to put this together, this is how it's supposed to look, okay? The instructions really were bad. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. They were really generic, and they tried to show a diagram, but they threw everything at the diagram, and so even though it was like a blown up view of everything blown apart, it made it more cumbersome to look at than I think they found it helpful. So like I said, I'm leaving things loose until I can finally figure out the permanent placement, and then I'm gonna tighten them down, but this is how this should look. This is kind of just barely offset. One of the videos I referred to was the Kies Motorsports, and that Brian referred putting this quick release plate on these two holes, and then that kind of basically keeps that there, and then we will figure out exactly how much we need to loosen this to slide this around. But anyway, this part of the video is just to show people how it should look if you get this and you want to assemble it. This would have been extremely helpful for me to kind of have a blueprint of getting a close-up view, going slow, showing which nuts and bolts go to which area. So here is the final product before it is sized for the M3. So now we're gonna go put it in the car. All right, so first thing, very simple. We're just gonna move our seats all the way back. All right, and as stated in other videos, all we need is a T50 Torx, and we're gonna undo this bolt, and we're gonna undo that bolt. And we'll get our mount and we'll see how much we need to spread it apart, and then it's just gonna kind of get wedged under there. And then we're gonna tighten it down. All right, here we go. And put this somewhere safe. And now we're gonna move on to the other side. There we go. The whole point is taking those bolts out. We're gonna lift this up a little bit, and this guy is just gonna slide under there and put the bolt back down. Just seeing here, this looks like I just need to extend this. Ah, man, maybe not even that much, maybe about an inch. So I'm gonna probably aim that way, and I'm gonna say, I'll probably get measuring tape to make sure I'm more exact here, but with that being set there, I'm gonna measure and say I need to loosen this part of the mount and extend it maybe, let's go measure. I think it's gonna look like about an inch, inch and a half. Going from the center of that, it appears it would be about 1 inch on the mark to get lined up with that hole. So I need to extend this whole thing to the right 1 inch. All right, so just a heads up, these are locking nuts. They're a little bit, I guess I tightened them down a little bit more than I thought. Anyway, I gotta loosen those, and what those are, if you wanna know, these little locking nuts are 11/32, pretty small. So I'm gonna put one end Phillips here, loosen this, gotta get them fairly loose, and I need to extend this whole thing 1 inch. And I will measure that again. All right, so this is why I'm doing these type of things, because I want you guys to get the little tips and tricks. I think 1 inch was too much. Reason being is if you go 1 inch, this nut touches and rubs against that rail. This nut touches and rubs against that rail. And I still need to tighten these guys down. So I think it's gonna be more like, I'll have to measure, but it's probably more than 3/4, but less than an inch. I just don't want these nuts to, I don't think they would affect anything, but I don't want them rubbing on the rail or scratching it. So, but I think this is my placement. I'm going to tighten these guys down, then I'm gonna tighten these guys down, and then it's just gonna be buttoning it up. And I think we're gonna be close to done. So this is exactly what I needed to do, was just kind of move it, not quite a full inch. I just didn't want those bolts touching, and they're close, but I just didn't want them to be like full rubbing on the rails. I don't know, I didn't feel good about that. Another little tip or trick I would recommend is, especially when you're tightening these bolts, for the angle for this bracket to be at this, I guess 90 degree, if you will, or pretty close to 90 degree, you're pretty much having this rest on the carpet. So what I did is I decided to take, and it may not be easy to see, but I took a little Sharpie. Once I knew how I wanted it to stand, took a little Sharpie and went right around the washer on this side and then on that side. And then I tightened one down, make sure that it was within that speck of the little line of the Sharpie. And then I took it out of the car and I tightened the other side, because there's no way that you're gonna get your tools on this side, hold it and this angle while it's in the car on the floor. So a little tip is go ahead and do little outlines on the washer, if you will. That helped me a lot. So this is the angle I want. Before I slide the car seat forward, I just gotta take the T50s and those bolts and put them back in here, tighten down to spec, which is 31 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna get my torque wrench and tighten these guys down. All right, so everything is lined up, it's tightened down, it's in place. I got the one side. I'm just taking torque wrench and per spec, these are supposed to get tightened down to, I believe, 31 foot-pounds of torque. So just doing that now. All right. We are done. Last thing we gotta do is just slide this guy forward. And I was curious about clearance. I'm sure you guys are too. Let's check it out. Plenty of clearance. Plenty of clearance. And I don't even think I'm gonna want my passenger to sit that close. That is ideal. I don't know if you've checked out my other video with the wireless magnetic charging mount built into my CUDA. You should check that out. This thing is so clean. Completely off topic. Sorry, I haven't had a little bit of a squirrel moment here with ADD, but I'm still super proud of that. It is so OEM plus look. Magnetic mount, wireless charging. It's ready for the iPhone 12. Or if you can't wait for that, just get a magnetic mount. It'll come with a little ring. Stick it to the back of your phone. Plop that on there. Built this into the CUDA case. Ran the wire through the trim. Oh, anyway, that's not what this video is about. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. The whole point of this video was to kind of go through a little bit more detail of the install of this, not only of putting it in the car. The two main reasons to do this today was to give a little bit more in-depth to the assembly of the bracket and also the parts that you need to really to get that final product, what I just got. So I'm glad it's in there. I feel like I'm ready next week to do my first revision of full E85 with meth. It's gonna be amazing. So we're gonna dial that in. I can't wait to go to the track. I got the Draggy. I want to do some comparison videos, Draggy versus P3 versus track times. I think that would be really cool. Stir the pot, make a debate, see how that plays out on the forums and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you again for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. If you like today's video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please help me out. Give me a subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I will catch you guys next time. See ya.